Hey everyone, on today's episode of Renegade Real Estate TV, we're going to talk about Mrs. Fields cookies and the missing ingredient in your investing. Hey, Nick just told me that did not look like a Mrs. Fields cookie. So he's right. Well, you know, we're on short notice here, and that was the best that we can do. So that cookie wasn't a Mrs. Fields cookie. So full disclosure on that. The point we want to talk about is today we were talking in the office here about the law of attraction, and it reminded me of a conversation I had last night with somebody who came out to one of our free training classes. And the words they chose to use with me were this: that they wanted to work hard for a couple years, and then they just kind of wanted to sit back and get like residual income, like passive income. And when anyone starts using those words with me, I kind of get a little nervous. And here's why. We make a point to study a lot of people who run small and big businesses. And I have yet to meet somebody who is making pure passive or residual income. And, you know, I think this leads to a bigger point. It's that when people get started in real estate investing, they think they're going to buy a property, and then that property is the end game. They buy the property and it's the end of the story. Whereas really that property is just the beginning of your business building efforts. And the biggest mistake that I continue to see people make is that they don't hustle, they don't work hard, they don't give it their all around the selling of their property. Whether they're selling the property if it's a flip, filling it with a tenant, filling it with students, filling multiple condo units, whatever it is. Like if you study some really, you know, I'm hesitant to use the word successful because anyone can define that however they want, but if any successful business people out there, take someone like Joan Rivers. I don't know how old she is, but I know she's old, and I can't really tell how old she is because of all the plastic surgery she's had, but she's pretty old. But she is hustling on the Home Shopping Network, selling her jewelry to this day. You kind of see her on there. And take Donald Trump. You know, he has all these buildings out there, and he's marketing them, and some of these buildings just have his name on them. But business just doesn't flow into those buildings. The people who are operating and selling those businesses, they put out glossy real estate magazines. They spend money to bring people into their business. And I think the small-time real estate investor, and by small-time, I don't mean any disrespect. We're all kind of starting our own real estate empires. But I mean, maybe the better word is the beginning real estate investor doesn't realize that you have to work. You have to get your name out there to attract business to you. And if you ever watch the show Dragon's Den, you know, Dragon's Den is a CBC show where a bunch of business guys sit up at the front and business people kind of pitch their idea. And the people who get shot down are all the business ideas that have no sales. The people who have the idea but don't actually get any sales done aren't attractive. You know, they're not attractive businesses. So like your real estate property, if you have a property, that is not the end game. You have to focus on attracting to your people to your property, constantly marketing, sharpening your business skills. And I want to share this story about Mrs. Fields cookies and why the missing ingredient in your investing might be this, and you need to think about it. Is that when Mrs. Fields started her cookie, the urban legend is that she took a mortgage out on her, her property with her husband, put all the money into her cookie shop. It was a pretty busy location, so they thought they had the right location. They started baking these cookies and thought they were going to sell them. Nobody came. Halfway through day one, she gets cookies, cuts them on a platter. There are all these hot cookies, and goes out and starts selling them in the streets and kind of giving out samples and driving business back to her shop. She was hustling. She was working. You know, that's the message that I think we all need to take with our real estate investments. If you have a property, the way to truly profit from your business is to hustle to get people to your property. And if you're looking to buy more real estate and you're running out of capital, because that's a situation all real estate investors are going to find themselves in at some point, you have to hustle to raise money. That's the name of the game. So, you know, next time you're kind of thinking of like what challenge you're in a particular real estate cycle, whether it's filling a property, selling a property, working with contractors, or it's raising capital to buy more real estate, remember the Mrs. Fields cookie story. You know, halfway through day one, when she wasn't selling cookies, she chopped up some samples, ran out into the streets, and started driving business back to her business. She didn't kind of put up her arms and wait around. You know, so if you're one of those people who has a property right now, is not going all out on your advertising, is just using free advertising classifieds and not paying money to be in the newspaper, you're missing out. You're not taking advantage of everything that's laying in front of you. That's it for today. Until next time, your life, your terms.